All right, so here we go. I'm in the GT3 configurator. I'm sitting here on my laptop in my office late afternoon, and I'm lacking focus. And so I always find it thinking about GT3 brings me back to center. So let's talk through what I would do if I get one. I think what I've decided is I'm not going to chase one. I'm not going to try to move heaven and earth and put deposits down all over the place. I believe now, if you're not familiar with how this works, and if you want a GT3, you can't always just walk in and buy one. You have to get an allocation, and they only produce so many of them. And the economic environment is good, and and Porsches are kind of in vogue, and so combine that with pretty much every previous gen owner is interested in getting the new version with the 4-liter motor and the manual transmission. But my local dealer, I think I'm in the top 2 or 3 spots. But again, if you're not familiar, these spots are subjective, and so they can kind of give it to whomever they want. And I don't want to pay any more than MSRP, considering they're going to cost considerably more than my current car, my current 991.1 GT3. But anyway, I'm gonna share with you how I would spec it if I do get one. But again, I'm not going to chase it and try to move heaven and earth to get one. I'm just going to get it if I get it. If I don't, I don't. I'm cool with my 991.1. Okay, so this is, if you're not a Porsche guy, this is affectionately referred to as a. This will be a 2000. I guess it'll probably be a 2017. Might end up being a 2018, but a 991 is the type, or is the model code. 991.2. The point 2 refers to the second iteration of the current generation. And so there's some significant differences, but the main being the motor, and then of course a manual transmission option, and then normal tech updates and some exterior downforce changes. The wing is a little bit different. The main thing for me would be just to have, I honestly believe, I know I've said this before, a manual 4-liter GT3 naturally aspirated, unless they continue to one-up, will be a keeper, something I'll have and keep for forever. And so I'm going to spec it out exactly the way I would want it. So I'm going to take you through that. And so let's talk about color first. Obviously, the black one is shown. The standard colors or standard non-metallic colors are certainly an option. I really love the idea. I'd love to have a white GT3, but I think that again, since this will be a long-term keeper for me, I think I'm going to continue to, and despite the fact that this is very boring and I'm going to get the same car I already have, or same look I already have, I'm going to get sapphire blue. I'd like to have guards red. I'd like to have a white one. Interested in Carrera white metallic. Even the chalk, which is a very primer-looking finish. I think this would be super cool to have. Carmine red is also nice. I'm gonna stick with sapphire blue, because again, this is my favorite color. Something I'm gonna want to have forever, despite the boringness of it. This color is the color that I want. And then I'm going to add black accents that I've replicated before I blew up my black headlights, before one flew out and bounced down the road. But the first option I would do wheels in black. I know some of you aren't big fans of black wheels. I am. It's just the style that I like, and so my car would look like so. So black wheels matching the black accents. I'm probably going to do some black under here, and then black headlights. So let's go through. You have an option to do standard interior or leather. The standard interior still has leather around the seats. So if we go look at the interior, so if you're doing the standard option, this is still leather here, but all of this stuff, the edges, the dash, the door panels and everything, anywhere where there would be leather is that kind of spongy plastic. or spongy, whatever it is. It's like a foam treated plastic or something. And so I would pay the extra for full leather. I probably wouldn't have done that in my order, my 991.1, but since it had it, I've become accustomed to it. It adds the stitching on the dash, stitching all the way around on on the door, the door handles, adds leather to the center console. So it really is a nice touch, leather around the back area as well. So I'm going to do that option. I'm not a fan of red stitching, so did red. I just don't like red stitching, so I would stick with the regular platinum. So that's what it would look like. Now seats, I would do one of two options. I'd either do the 4-ways because the 18-ways are super heavy and I don't see the need, or buckets. I really want buckets. Carbon back, they're super lightweight, they're incredible. When I go up to the GT3 event in April, I'm gonna sit in Sean or somebody's car and just sit there and sit there for like 20 minutes or so and see if I can handle the buckets. My issue with buckets is my hips. Even if I'm in great shape, my waist is 36, maybe 34. And so my natural, 36 to 38 inch waist, my hips just have a hard time fitting in these kind of seats. And so I need to sit in the buckets in like an RS or a newer Gen 991.1 and make sure that I can handle it, because I love the 4-ways. I know they don't look as good and they're not as cool looking, but as the buckets, but they're they hold me in just fine. And when I do drive the car, like when I'm in the mountains, I certainly spend a lot of time in the seat, and so I don't want to have to deal with being uncomfortable, to a large extent. And so as of right now, again, I would add buckets. Right, so buckets would be an option. So let's go look at the options. Model deletion. So this gets rid of the GT3 logo. I would also get rid of the Porsche logo as well. So I wouldn't want any of that, and I would get just a 997 GT3 decal, just like I have now. Actually, like I used to have. I need to get another one because when they painted the rear bumper, they didn't put the right size on. So I wouldn't worry about any of this painted stuff. I would add, in lighting, you have Porsche Dynamic Lighting System. That's what PDLS stands for. So you'd have PDLS, just regular. You could add LEDs with PDLS, or you can add black. And so I would add black LEDs. Boom. I just think they look better, despite the fact that I actually prefer to have these little turn signal lights lit. And so if you do regular lights, except that change. So if you do the regular lights, then at least on the current generation car, these are lit. If you do the LEDs, then it has the 4 little lights that emulate, I think, the 918 whatever car, that race car, and then these don't light up. And so I would prefer to have them all light up, to be honest with you. So I probably need to figure out some sort of coding. And then you would have to replace these as well, because I'm sure they'll come in amber in the US. So that's what I choose there. Always choose headlight cleaning system covers, painted in exterior color. That's these little goofy headlight squirter things that nobody ever uses. But I guess they're standard or required in Europe, so they just have them on these cars, and so you'd paint that in blue. I know some people got it done in black. I'd leave it in blue. I wouldn't paint the side skirts. I wouldn't do the door handles in black. Sport design exterior mirrors, the lower trim in gloss black. I think that would be a really cool little touch, so I'm going to do that. And so despite the fact that it's really expensive, I would add that. And I wouldn't do the carbon mirrors. I don't think it's worth it. I've never done that on any of my cars. And then I always get this fuel cap. It's $100, whatever. Performance, I'm not going to do the front axle lift. I've never had an issue with the front. Also, notice the front spoiler on this car is narrower, so I think the car actually sits higher than the current generation. So I don't have any need for the front axle lift. Mine has it. I never use it. I will lower the car, I'm sure, with the factory coilovers, but again, this front lip is a couple $100 if you ever scraped it. Not a big deal. And I don't have issues where I live, so I just don't foresee the need to lift. I'm used to driving lowered cars. I will do the expensive carbon ceramics because I love them, and I won't be tracking the car. And this is one of the things that is sort of counterintuitive. People I see all the time, commenters who really don't understand, these cars or understand carbon ceramic brakes would say, well, unless you're going to track the car, you wouldn't want carbon ceramics. Well, it would actually be opposite. If you're going to track the car a lot, you wouldn't want carbon ceramics because you'll blow through the rotors, and the rotors are $4,400 a piece. So if you're going to do tracking, you would want steel. If you're going to do what I'm doing, which is back road poser driving, then you would want I want carbon ceramics. They look incredible. They don't really stop all that much differently than the others. They may fade a little less, but something that I love and will do if I have the option on any car, if I have the means to do it. And then extended range fuel tank. This is big, especially since most of the driving I'm doing, especially in the mountains, to not have that extra size tank. I mean, it's a massive tank. It's almost 24-gallon tank instead of 17. These things get about 12, 13 miles a gallon when you're driving spiritedly in the mountains. So something that I think is a really nice option to have. Guys that don't have that seem to have to stop at every gas station. Interiors, I won't do auto-dimming mirrors or light design. I have both of these. I find these rather unnecessary. The light design package adds this little thing here, which whoop-de-doo, and adds the little glow lights in some of the rear footwell areas and stuff, but I don't need that. And then the dimming mirrors, again, I mean, how often do you really drive a GT3 at night anyway? At least I don't find myself doing it a lot. I'm going to leave the steering wheel in Alcantara this time, and I will pay for the top center mark. I think that's a really nice touch, so I will add that to the option list. Seat heating, I don't need. I live in Florida. You definitely do the smoking package, which turns this little cup into a cover. So that's I think a necessary upgrade. Obviously, you want floor mats. The luggage net I wouldn't do. I don't need that. I won't do the fire extinguisher again. I won't do any painted interior. I would argue friends don't let friends, or friends shouldn't let friends paint stuff in the interior, but it's just a personal preference. No painting, no painting, no painting. I don't really care about my key being painted, especially for $500. I don't like different color gauges. I'm not doing Sport Chrono. The Sport Chrono package doesn't do anything in these cars other than add an app that I'll never use. And so no Sport Chrono, and I will not be doing any funky colored seat belts. I have gray ones in my car now, but it's not something I really care about. Interior leather, I won't be adding any of this, but you can go crazy with leather and adding different leather stuff all over the place. I won't be doing that. I also won't be adding any alcantara anywhere. I just don't. Again, I'm not a big interior guy, though. My buddy Nick Murray is a huge interior aficionado and really values the interior. I just don't. The interior as it comes is really great with the standard leather package. I won't be doing interior carbon fiber either. What I will do, which is a really neat option, is to do brushed aluminum in anthracite. So notice this stuff here. I think that looks cool. I like that. And of course, this will be the cover from the smoking package. The one touch I will do and will continue to do, notice the pedals look a little cheap. These aluminum pedals that I have spec'd in my GT3 are amazing. And so here's what they look like. They have, you would think they're slippery, but they have awesome grip. They're just great. I really, really like these pedals, so I'll be doing that. I guess the biggest thing I failed to mention was I'll be doing a manual transmission. So back here, I won't be doing PDK. So again, we don't even have the manual option here on this car yet, but I won't be doing PDK. I'll be doing the 6-speed manual. Let's see, what else do we got? So there's our leather, carbon fiber. I'm torn on this. The Bose sound is going to be terrible. I'll probably add it, and I'll probably just leave it this time, rather than doing anything aftermarket. So I'll add this, and if I was going to do an aftermarket audio system, this is probably going to sound like crap. Hopefully, it doesn't sound as bad as the factory GT3 did. But again, if I was going to go aftermarket, you don't want to do Bose, because Bose makes everything more complicated with their odd impedances and things like that. They'll use like 1/8 ohm speakers and digital amplifiers and things like that fake decent sound. But anyway, I'll do this and chalk it up to, I don't want to tear the car apart again. Even though when I tore mine apart, it came apart and went back together seamlessly. But I'll probably choose that option. And then I am going to do the delivery experience. If it's anything like BMWs, it's worth every penny. So I'll probably drive my Raptor up there with the trailer, and then trailer it up the mountains, drive around a bit, and then trailer it back home. So here's the stinger, $171,000 sticker. My previous car had a $156,000 sticker. So let's say that I sell mine for, worst case scenario, let's say I sell mine for $125. I could have an NE92 M3 for that cost difference. I think if I can get one again, depending on what day you talk to me, I would move heaven and earth to get one of these new ones with a 4-liter. And then next day I'm like, mine's pretty awesome as it is. This looks pretty similar. I don't really have to have the newest, latest, and greatest. That's not really my bag. I just want, mine has 12,000 miles on it. Mine's the 2014. I would really like to have this thing and keep it. And dare I say, I'd probably wrap this car as well. So I would probably do, SunTech on the whole thing, start to finish. I would, probably talk to like Dan Roth and see if I could buy him a plane ticket to come down, and I'll correct the car and then have him come down, and we'll shoot some video with Dan Roth from Esoteric, and have him wrap the whole thing. Let's see if I could again convince him to do that. But anyway, that's my build. We'll see what happens. Theoretically, I think I'll probably get one. Both financially, I think I'll invest the money, and I would really love to have a manual. As much as the PDK is great, and so if I have third spot in Ocala, the first two will probably go PDK, which will be the first orders. And then I'm guessing they'll make a lot of these cars, so I'll probably get an allocation if I am third spot. And I'm going to share the crap out of this car, make video crazy on this thing, and then really the only modification necessary, do a radar detector, and then exhaust. So if I this car, I would probably do a full AI priority, laser shifter, and the new Escort, what's it called? I forget what it's called, a 9500 360 or something like that. The new Escort that comes out, I'd probably do the full-on radar on this thing. Anyway, exciting stuff, despite my monotone voice. Sorry about that. I get that. That's probably the thing I get most often criticized for, is being monotone, even though I'm talking about one of the coolest things in the world. It's just my personality. Sorry about that. But anyway, we'll see, and I thought I'd share this stuff with you and share the build, and this is what I'm intending, and hopefully I'll get one. Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more crazy.